today. So I am going to give everybody a couple of more minutes and we're going to get started with our day 3 on why we're not growing. So it's going to be good today, y'all. It is going to be so good. So I'll give everybody just a couple of minutes to pop on. We're over on YouTube as well as Instagram. So we'll give everybody time to get logged in. I'm going to type my titles in for day 3. I don't know why I'm still using one hand to type. I got to do better. Hello, Cheryl. Y'all come on in. We are just about to get started. I wanted to come on just a couple of minutes early so I can make sure everything was set up because yesterday I was 6 minutes late and I don't like being late. But if you all are just joining me, I want to thank you for joining. And if you're new over here, my name is Ayana, owner of Southern Entertaining. And if y'all see me looking back and forth, it's because I'm looking at both cameras. Owner of Southern Entertaining. We love everything home and garden, but this year kind of took a change or switch with me because of everything that's going on, everything with the pandemic. A lot of people were getting frustrated trying to grow, and they weren't doing as well as they thought. So we are teaching beginner gardeners just grow something. I always tell people grow a flower, grow a herb, grow anything, but just start. So we did this 3-part series, and the reason why I wanted to do it because I looked at another food recall. I think it was either Thursday night or Friday night. And hello, Viv Aspiring Lives. Thank you so much for joining us today. But I looked at another recall and I was just like, here we go again. And I don't think it'll be the last recall. And if you guys have been following me a long, I always say start, just start. Something easy if you want to get started is lettuce. We've been growing a lot of lettuce, and I'm going to plant some more today. It's something quick, it's a very quick crop. Or if you're new and just want to try one thing, try an herb because some herbs, if you have the right lighting, you can actually grow it inside. I'm not sure what everyone's zone is. We're still able to grow. We're in zone 8B pushing 9A. So it's still, today is 81 out here today. So we have been growing, but I'm going to do some self sowing when I get off. We're getting cooler temperatures next week, and I want to go ahead and just do some spinach, just direct seed some spinach in. Spinach is a tricky one. The germination temp has to be right. It likes to germinate more on the cooler side, so I was going to do that. Viv Inspire, you're in zone 8B2, so you should be able to do some more growing as well. But I just want to be able for people who are thinking about it and you're not sure, or you're telling yourself, or you want to start but don't know where. This is what I am focusing on doing right now because I want you to know the basics. So if you have not downloaded our 5 tips to a flourishing garden, go to our Instagram, which is at Southern Entertaining, and click on, I think it's the second or the third link. It's totally free. And if you're thinking about starting, it's giving you 5 tips to think about. Yes, you've been growing. Yes, I just I I complain during the summer about how hot it gets. But I do like this growing zone. I will tell you that. I'm originally from Columbus, Georgia. They're in either I think 7B, so they're a little bit cooler. But I just love this zone. Now in the summer times, y'all will probably hear me on the videos complain about how hot and humid it is, but overall, I do appreciate the growing zone here because I think the only time I really let everything stop and kind of overwinter was January and February. We kind of stopped, but when I saw the recall, I put a poll on Instagram and I said, if you have not started gardening, or if you have not started growing, what is stopping you from growing? And the top three reasons were um, time, it was money, and it was you just keep telling yourself that you can't. Like you've really programmed yourself that you can't do it. So let me just do a quick recap. Friday we talked about time, and I'll let y'all know. I'll be totally honest with you. Up front, it does take time, depending on how you want to grow. But I also shared with you how you can get that time back on the back end. If you saw my Instagram stories this morning, instead of me having to go get ready, get dressed, put my clothes on, go to the store and get some peppers for our omelet, I walked right out here and I picked two peppers, one red, one yellow, the mini bell peppers, and we use that. So I just kind of go over ways you can get that time back. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say it doesn't take time. It may take time. If you have to go get a container, it will take your time to go and pick out the right container. It will take your time to go get your soil. But once you can start growing, and if you're on your patio, your front door, back door, you can walk out here and literally a minute or two get what you need and go back in. So that is where the time comes in from. Now, if you didn't watch yesterday, you missed it because we get a lot of money. We don't have the money. Y'all, I gave y'all some good ways, some free ways you could do it. And most of the tips and things that I showed yesterday were under $5 to get started. It does not take a whole lot. And when I tell y'all I am the budgeter and I'm not paying a lot of stuff for a lot of things, I find creative ways. I think outside the box. I even showed where you can get like the dollar dish pan and just sprinkle some herb seeds in there if you want to get started. So most of the ways were under $5, but I will tell you I do a lot of off-season shopping. So like I said yesterday, a lot of people are trying to move this garden stuff out because they need to put those bikes up for Christmas. They need to get those bikes moved in, so you know where I'm talking about. So they're marking down a lot of things. So think about that. Think about ways to just think outside the box, ways you can grow. So today, what we're going to talk about is, I think this reason is the one that I hear the most is I can't grow. I just can't grow. And I think that if you tell it to yourself so many times, you yourself start to believe that you can't grow. Like you've told yourself, you've really programmed yourself to say, I can't grow. And so you're starting to believe it. Think about, think about for those who learn how to ride a bike. Yes, clearance. You gotta stay on the clearance. You gotta think outside the box, and you can grow, and it won't take you a lot. But think about when you first tried to ride a bike. You just didn't. Well, I know I didn't. I just didn't get on the bike and start riding it. I had to keep practicing, and I had to keep trying to get my balance. I had to keep doing that, and then eventually you get it. Don't think, this is what I want y'all to understand. Don't think you go and you get a beautiful plant and it's supposed to grow and you're not going to kill it. I'm still killing plants now. Some are finicky, some want to be coddled, some want to be talked to all the time, some just don't like where I plant them at. And so you have to tell yourself, if I do kill a plant, it's okay. This is why I tell people to get like a garden journal. If a plant is starting to die, first thing, go stick your hand, if you're growing in the pot or if you're growing in the ground, go stick your hand in the pot or the ground. Well, was it watered enough? Did you water it enough? How often did you water it? Do you see bugs around it? Things like that. You have to journal and put in your journal and assess, why do you think it died? You know, um, because the 5 tips to a flourishing garden, some plants may like the sun. They may want the sun all the time. Some plants may want the shade. You might buy a plant and you think, I'm going to put it in the sun, and then um, it won't shade, so it dies because it's getting too it's a shady type plant. So you have to first start, and then if it does die, then okay, let's try to figure out why it died. So you can't keep telling yourself, I can't grow, I can't grow, I can't grow, just because you had one or two plants die on you. You have to try to ask yourself, what can I do next time? Or don't just say, I can't grow that. Just ask yourself, why do you think it died? Okay, let's go back to riding the bike. When you were learning how to ride a bike, okay, and you fell. So you might have said, all right, I need to balance myself a little bit. I need to do more balancing, or I need to do this. But once you got the hang of it, you now know how to ride a bike. And to me, that's the same thing that we talk about with growing. I have so many gardening books. I still go on YouTube. I still do my research. So what I would say to that, if there's a particular plant you want to grow, go on Google, put that plant name in, see what conditions it likes, how to grow it. Is it a shade plant? Does it love sun? Like, just do a little research, and that will let you know, is it a perennial? Is it an annual? Because we've had a lot of people that, I'll use this for an example. They buy an annual, and then once that annual growing cycle is over, they can't wonder. They wonder why it died. Well, because it's an annual, and it does a life cycle, and then it dies. So if it makes seeds, you save the seeds. If not, then that's it for that plant. So just do a little research on the plant, take down some key information. If it is a perennial, if it's an annual, is it a shrub? Um, does it like sun? Does it like shade? And don't do like me. When I first started gardening, a lot of people told me 10 10 10. That was your go-to. Some plants like certain things, and that's like the herbs that we grow. Sometimes you have to fertilize the plants a little bit more than what you would have to do for a shrub. A shrub you do maybe twice a year. You put some slow release fertilizer, and you just kind of let them be. So do a little research, but don't tell yourself, I cannot grow, because you can. Like I tell my kids, you can do anything that you put your mind to. You could do it. If you really want to do it, if you really want to grow, you can do it. So don't tell yourself that you can't do it so many times to where you start to believe you can't do it. You can do it. You can grow. I started off, let me tell you, watching my grandmother just make it look so easy. And once we moved overseas, I thought I could replicate the same thing. I spent plenty hours on the phone with her, like, I don't know what is going on. I was getting frustrated. But sometimes, if you know someone who loves to garden or like plants or growing, reach out to them. I love talking to people about plants. Like I tell people, I'm gonna warn you, once I start, I can't stop. I just keep going and all of that. But I kept trying, I kept researching, I kept saying, even, and I'm gonna give y'all a good example right now. Squash, for me, that is like, I am gonna master growing. You just don't know it, but I am. And I do that because we always have a problem with squash vine borers. So I researched, see what I could do. They say plant mint by it, but then you got to be careful with the mint, because if you plant mint in the ground, it's going to take over. Um, but just do a little research. And that's what I want to share with you. You can do it. You can grow. Don't tell yourself, from this day forward, I challenge you. If you're telling yourself I can't grow, don't say that. Um, don't say that anymore. Yes, the struggle is. I was so successful maybe a couple times here in coastal Georgia with squash. And it will start out so beautiful, so pretty. Hey Shirley, how are you? Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming. Um, but every single year, the squash vine bore. You just open up the stem inside, and there they are. There they are, just looking all gross and stuff like that. So Y'all about to see the real me. Now, my sister just texted me, and she knew I was going on live, and then she called. So you wait till she get. I hope she get on this video, cause you wait till I get off of this. You wait till I get off this live, cause she know I was going live at 12. See, that's what I be talking about with some of my family members. I tell you, and she is the one. She is the one that will tell you now she can't grow. And I told her several times, stop saying that. You just don't want to grow. That's what I tell her. You just don't want to grow because we were raised in the same household with the same fundamentals. She had to pull those weeds and plant that stuff just like I did. She just don't want to do it. So I'd rather hear you say I don't want to do it as to I can't grow, because you can. You can. You have to change your mindset and do it. And you just have to reprogram yourself and say, you know what? When it's time to start growing, or if you see, just, I challenge you to do this. If you go to the big box stores or the garden center and you want to grow, just get one plant and say, you know what? I'm going to grow this plant. I'm going to grow it, and it's going to be so pretty. The only thing about what I tell people is when you get started and once you get the hang of it and once stuff, you're going to want to keep expanding. You're going to want to keep growing. My husband just told me before I walked out that this patio is scaring him because I have picked up on some shrubs. I've picked up on some evergreens. And now is a good time. If you're in the right zone for fall, now is a good time to go and see if they're marking a lot of plants down, just to get your foot wet and or your feet wet and try it. Because the reason why I say that is they're trying to move, just like the stores are trying to move those bikes in and get like a lot of those pots and plants out the way. The big box stores are trying to get those Christmas trees in, so they're marking stuff down, and nothing is wrong with them. Nothing is wrong with them. If you go back and watch my live yesterday, I did get a couple of clearance plants, and you got to know what you're looking for. But I also got shrubs. I'm gonna pick one up right now. Nothing wrong with it. 50% off. But they just need to put the Christmas trees up. They just need to put those Christmas trees up. But that's what I'm saying. Start with one thing. Don't tell yourself from this day forward that you cannot grow, because you can. And I'm giving y'all tough love on this. You can. You can grow whatever you want to. Cause just think about it. If it's something you want to do and you really want to do it, don't you figure out a way to do it? You do. You figure out a way to do it. I know I'll figure out whatever way I need to do, or if it's something I want to try. The only thing I don't like about YouTube, y'all, being live is the comments, like they come up and they go down real quick and I can't read it. I saw something about mulching with the squash vine boards. I'm gonna do that squash. We're gonna have some good squash. See how I'm speaking it into existence? I am going to grow squash and zucchini, and it's gonna be good. But right, Viv Inspiring Lives. Just if you think about it, if it's something you really want to do or really something you want to learn, you're gonna figure it out. You're gonna figure it out. That's just like I think I was telling y'all the other day with technology. I always call in my youngest daughter, but I know she's about to graduate. So guess what? I'm going to have to sit down, take the time, and figure it out. But I know I can figure it out. That's why I tell them you can do whatever you want if you put your mind to it. Is don't let nobody tell you what you can and can't do, because you can if you really want to. So start off if you're just starting. And that's what I said too. Don't overwhelm yourself at first. If you're new, don't overwhelm yourself, and because you can become frustrated really quick. Start off small, master that, grow that, and then once you got that growing under control over in its own little zone, then go to the store and say, you know what, I want to try growing tomatoes. Get one tomato plant, plant it, focus. Now you got two plants to focus on. Focus on that plant and focus on that one, and then you start mastering that. And once you start getting the foundations and the fundamentals of growing, then you can just start adding whatever you want to, because now you know. And again, like I say, depending on what you buy, because a lot of times I'll be at the big box stores with my phone. If it's something I'm not familiar with, I'll go right there on Google. I'll see what it is because a lot of times they put the scientific name on there. I'll Google it. I'll see what it is. I'll see what type of plant it is. If it's sun, does it take a lot of sun? Does it take a lot of shade? Before I pick it up and buy it and say, this is what I want to grow. I see a lot of pretty plants, a lot of pretty vegetables, but if I'm unfamiliar with it, then I will stand right there and do a little research because slow down and focus on one thing. Yes, and Shirley, you know you are amazing. I want to use you as an example because you really did it this year. I mean, Shirley, y'all, she grew okra. She grew what else she grew, Shirley? I know she grew sage, tomatoes, peas. She was growing it. And I'm back on Instagram now. Sherry, you are going to get it. You're doing good with the lettuce. So once you focus on the lettuce and you know how to grow it, then you know what? You could say, I'm finna add me some herb. Or to go with my lettuce, I'm gonna buy a pack of these radish seeds and I'm gonna direct sow them, and we're gonna have that with our salad. And I do sometimes get beside myself and start buying and planting all this stuff. But when you're new, just focus on one thing, get good with that, and then just keep expanding. And you also got to watch these garden centers too, because it's one plant that I seen them a couple of times have it, is the lilac. You can't they don't grow good in this zone. I think they're like to a zone 7, and I know that they make many different varieties, but they had a variety there. It was so pretty. If y'all are not familiar with the lilac, it smells so good. But I stood right there because I was like, I didn't think lilac grows good in this zone. I stood right there, Googled it, Googled that name, and no, it did not. So I had to leave it alone. So that's why sometimes you bought garlic and onions and they are still sitting there. If you don't get those garlic and onions planted, now is the time. You better put them in the ground, put them in a container, and plant them. You will be amazed, especially with garlic. We're planting garlic this week. If y'all watched our stories today, I'm pulling up the lima bean patch with garlic. If you're in a southern grow zone, we'll say from zone 8 down, it really benefits for you to put them in the freezer for about 4 to 6 weeks because they have to have a cold period. Now, if you're in a zone like maybe 7 on up, you should be good because it gets colder. It'll get cold enough. Garlic has to have like a cold point, or it has to get cold enough for the bulbs to get big. You can still grow garlic, but I've noticed if I don't put them in the freezer, in the refrigerator for about 4 to 6 weeks, I'll still get bulbs, but they won't be that big. So I know I did a YouTube where I showed the garlic bulbs and how what all we were growing. They do make garlic for southern zones, and I got them in my refrigerator, just like in the crisper drawer. I had to put a brown paper bag on. And hello, quietly gardening. I had to put a brown paper bag and I had to put a sticky note with a staple that say "Do not touch." That's what I got to do in my household. You got to put notes on stuff in the refrigerator like "Don't touch. This is for such and such," or "This is for this," because my family will go in and break out whatever they want to. They don't ask you, "Is this for something specific?" So we have to put notes on things in the refrigerator. That's how we operate here. But so Sherry, get the garlic and get the onions planted. You can plant. I've planted. I have grown garlic in containers as well. So you can grow them in containers, and you will be amazed. Once that garlic grows and you taste it, you are not going to want to buy grocery store garlic again. That's how I felt the first time I grew garlic. I didn't want to buy a lot of stuff I grow. I don't want to buy it, but I know I can't grow all season, and certain things are for certain seasons. So now I promise y'all I will not have to buy lettuce, probably greens, probably until like March or April of next year, because I'm just going to keep it going. A lot of your leafy greens like the collards and the kale, they benefit from that frost. And so they get sweeter as it gets colder. And so, a lot for us here in Zone 8B, we can overwinter that and just continue to pick off of it. But that's what I want to share with y'all today. If you haven't watched part one and part two, we're going to keep it up on Instagram. Sometimes I take my lives down, but I am going to keep those up because I think it's time for us to start growing. Because what went on earlier this year with you have limitations on certain things you can buy. I am in 8B Texas. I have elephant garlic. Do you think I should put it in the fridge or go ahead and plant it? I put my garlic in the it's been right now I'm pushing on about 6 weeks. Personally, I notice a difference in, like I said, you'll still get bulbs. They may not be that big. I'm not sure about the elephant garlic because the elephant garlic, they already have big bulbs. But I know that I still get bulbs. They're not as big. So I normally try to plant my garlic between November and December. So, but I need to get it planted this year because I mean this week, just because I got so much more I got to get planted. Like today, when I get off the live, I'm gonna go ahead and direct seed some spinach, so that that can come up, and then we're gonna plant some more greens, some collard greens. Um, Sherry, go to USDA.gov, type in your zip code, and it's going to tell you exactly what your growing zone is. And that way you'll know. I think I looked at yours. I think you're like 7A or 7B, but just confirm it on USDA.gov. Just put like grow zone, grow zone, and I think that link will come up. I started dehydrating, freezing some of my herbs, and yes, when you grow herbs, you can definitely dehydrate them. I have mason jars that we dehydrate them. Like oregano is growing like crazy, and I'm really contemplating. Okay, sure, Sherry. So you're in 7B. I got a Sherry on Instagram, and I got a Shirley on YouTube. But the oregano is a great herb to get, and I don't want to pull it up. It's growing so good, but I have dehydrated so much oregano. I got one mason jar that says oregano for tea because I will put it in my tea, and then I got one oregano that says oregano for like spices when I cook with. Right now, they don't sell it before mid-November, so maybe that's why. What don't Okay, tell me what don't they sell before mid-November? Y'all, the comments are the comments are coming, and I'm trying to look at them. Yeah, tell me what they don't sell before mid-November. Quietly gardening. But garlic, okay, gotcha. Yes, they will put it out late, but I actually ordered this year. I ordered my garlic from Keen Garlic, and that was another reason. When I tell y'all, where did we order our garlic from last year? I normally order my garlic, but this year everybody was sold out. Every single body was sold out, and this Keen Garlic just so happened to have a few left because a lot of their stuff was sold out as well. It was hard this year, y'all know, finding seeds. That's why I talk about. I did a live on saving your open pollinated seeds. Garlic, it was hard to find that, but yeah, the garlic and the onion sets they put out a little bit later, which I guess it depends because our onions and garlic can overwinter. Okay, I will drop the link in the. I'm gonna put the link in the comments. Okay, yeah, I know it was Keen Garlic that we ordered our KEENE garlic. Hello, Best Yet Journey. How are you today? But yeah, just start, y'all. So if you're just joining, I just wanted to this is our we had a 3-part series because it all started when I saw a recall that was saying that they had a recall on the lettuce, romaine lettuce. I think it had sent like maybe 28 people to the hospital, And I just think it'll probably be some more. I really do think it'll probably be some more recalls. So I posed the question on Instagram and said, why are you not growing? A lot of people said it was time, it was money, and they just kept telling themselves that they couldn't do it. So Friday we talked about time. Yesterday we talked about money, and so today we're talking about why you keep telling yourself that you can't. And I'll just recap: don't do that, because if you keep telling yourself you can't, you yourself are going to start to believe that you can't. So if you do kill something, which you probably will, and if you don't, congratulations, you need to grow more, you're on top of it. But if you do kill something, ask yourself, what why did this plant die? Like, I think I've asked some people, how often did you water it? Well, did you see any bugs or anything by it? Because I'm telling y'all, a lot of pests. Let me tell y'all about the white flies. A lot of people think they're harmless, but those white flies can take your plant down because they look like they're harmless. You go run your hand and you see the white flies and you move. But the thing with white flies you have to remember is they go from different plants. They can carry different diseases, and they can come and get on your plant and give that plant that disease. So you have to be careful with them. They look like little harmless flies. Gardening with joy, you say, yes, yours took mine out. They look harmless, but I'm telling you, they fly and they go on all these different plants. And if one plant has some type of disease or something like that, and they come back to your plant, it will take them out. So that's what I'm saying. If a plant does die, ask yourself, was it any diseases? Was it any aphids on it? Did I water it enough? Was it a plant that was made for the shade? Was it a plant made for the sun? Is it a perennial? Is it an annual? And keep a journal. This is my first season gardening, and I've killed plenty, and I've been successful with plenty. Quietly Gardening. Y'all got to read this from Quietly Gardening on YouTube. She says, this is my first season gardening, and I've killed plenty, and I've been successful with plenty, so don't be afraid. It gives me so much peace and joy. Thank you for sharing that, because gardening, once you start getting it, it's really, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, it's very therapeutic for me. I get out here and it's just like I'm in a different world. So Quietly Gardening just says she's killed a lot, but she's also been successful with a lot. And that is what it's all about. You are going to kill some, and you are going to have some that's flourishing. If y'all looked at my story this morning on these tricolored peppers, I got them from Park Seed. They're sold out, but if they don't hurry up, I am about to get on the phone with them tomorrow morning and ask them when exactly do they think they're going to get some more seeds in. Those have been, and each year that you grow, you'll see that you have some top performers in the garden. Those tricolored peppers are number one. They have not let me down, and they still keep producing, and they are so good. And that's what I say about growing your own too. I used to hear the older people say sweet bell peppers, and I'm thinking, well, they don't taste sweet to me. But these bell peppers, that's why I see why they say sweet bell peppers. They are sweet. They taste like, they are so fresh. They just taste good. You will not find a bell pepper like that in the produce department. Yes, gardening has been my safe place during the pandemic. My garden grew so much this year, and I've been much happier and healthier. Exactly. And see, that's why I wanted to start sharing my journey and bringing y'all along with me and really teaching beginner gardeners, or if this is your first or second season, or if you just thinking about wanting to do it. I want to be able to help you do it. I want to be able to help you do it with confidence. Do not get down on yourself if you kill a plant. Do not tell yourself I cannot grow if you kill one plant. Do not do that, because you are going to keep saying that so much until you start believing it. I am big for manifestation. And when I plant my seeds, I'm like, oh, I know y'all are going to be good. This is going to be a bountiful crop right here, and we are just going to be good, and I'm just thankful. Like I talk to my plants. I do. I just asked my mustard seeds the other day. I don't know why you think you about to go to seed, because we still got to eat. Okay? So you can just stop it. But the mustard seeds were like, it's 81 degrees and you know. It's 81 degrees and you already know. I saw one of your videos about the importance of cleaning your pots. Yes. So let's talk about that a little bit. Thanks, Gardening with Joy. Let's talk about that. Say, for instance, you are growing in a pot. Okay. Say, for instance, you're growing in a pot and that plant died. You've tried to analyze why it died. Was it watering? Was it sun? Was it shade? What was it? And you want to reuse that pot and you want to grow again. You got to listen at what I'm about to tell y'all. You have to clean your pots. I just use a Clorox solution, because if that plant died, maybe because of a fungal disease, maybe because of, okay, Bessie at Journey, you're over here on Instagram. Okay, if you're if it's a fungal disease or some type of bacteria, if you put a healthy plant in there again, it's a possibility that that plant will get that fungus or that disease, and then you'll just have plants dying, and that's when you're really going to become frustrated. So it's so important to clean your pots just in case some type of disease, some type of bacteria, some type of fungus is in there. Get that out so that it won't continue to happen. If you're growing in a raised bed or if you're growing in containers, at the soil level, always keep those areas clean. I came out this morning to look at my red mustard greens, and it's been raining all week long. And it's been raining. We have like mold and fungus. And if you saw, I keep saying our stories. If you saw our stories this morning, our cone flowers or echinacea, I have to clean that out, because if not, it's so many fungus gnats, and that's from the humidity, from the moisture, from raining all week long. But you want to clean stuff like that out. The leaves, if you're growing in a raised bed and they're like on the ground and yellowing on that raised bed surface, get all of that up, because you're inviting pests to come on and get with your plants, and that's not what you want to do. Always keep that area around there clean. So I know what I got to do today when I get off live. I got to go and just do some cleaning up around those areas, because you don't want to invite the diseases, or you don't want to invite the different things, because then you might have to work a little bit harder. But I'm glad you brought that up, because it is important when you grow in pots. Make sure you clean, make sure you sanitize that. So if you grow something else and that prior plant had a problem, you don't want to put it on the new plant. So that is very important. But yes, y'all got to grow something, and you have got to start off somewhere. And just think about this. Even the experts in the industry now, they started somewhere. They didn't start just like growing and just being successful. They kill plants. I've looked at some different master classes, and people still have problems. The environmental conditions could be why something may not do as well as you want to. One year it may be a success. The next year it may be so much rain, so much that I've talked to farmers that have lost crops, and it wasn't because of what they were doing, but did they give up? No, you didn't give up. For example, maybe they had so much rain, the next year they decided, okay, well, I'll put like a high tunnel or something like that up. So that's what I'm saying. Just because you may not have success the first, the second, the 10th time, that doesn't mean you give up. Put your mind to it, because like I tell my kids, I think people just need to enjoy gardening. And it's such an enjoyment. And you're exactly right, Viv Inspiring Lives. It's a journey. Think of it as a journey, a gardening journey. I tell my kids all the time, you can do whatever you want to do if you put your mind to it. Put your mind to it. Do a little research if you need to. Some things come easier to others than somebody else, but you can do it. Don't tell yourself that you cannot do it, because you can. So I want y'all to think about that. I want y'all to think about what you're going to grow. What you're going to grow. I want you to comment. I want you to tell me, what are y'all going to grow, and we are going to grow together, because that's right. This is a gardening journey. It's a journey, and we need to look at it as that. And I'm telling you, once you start, you're going to want to bring everybody into it. Y'all can ask Shirley, you can ask Sherry. I just get excited. I get excited when I get pictures from people saying, "Look at this." I love that. I really do. I get excited. Lettuce, onions, and garlic. That is a great start, Sherry, and it's going to be good. I'm telling you, you are going to probably end up taking out some space and wanting to do like a full bed of stuff, because it's just satisfying. It is. And not only that, is rewarding when you harvest something and you say, "I grew this myself. I grew it." Yes, tag me, Viv Inspiring Lives. But Gardening with Joy over on YouTube says, definitely a journey. I love it. There is no failures, just absolutely. There is no failures, just learning experiences. And that's what I say in life too. It's no mistakes, it's just you learning. You're learning, and when you learn, you say, okay, well, next time I'll do this, or next time I won't do this. It's all about the journey, and it's a learning journey. But I'm telling you, when you grow your own stuff and you just taste what you grown, it's also a feeling of accomplishment. Like, I did this. I did that. Yes, Sherry, your lettuces are looking good. I'm telling you. But it's a feeling of accomplishment. And then, Sherry, also, when you taste it, I'm telling you, you're not gonna want to. You're gonna look at that lettuce in the produce department, and you're just gonna be like, "I got lettuce at home." And it's a way to save money, because I'm telling y'all, from now until about March or April, because that's when like our lettuces and leafy greens start going to seed. We don't, and it's a way to save money. We don't have to buy that stuff at the store. I pass by the lettuces now, because I'm like, you know what, I can go home and I can make my own. Viv Inspiring Lives over on Instagram just said, "I'm about to cut some now for tacos." See how convenient that is? She doesn't have to say, "Oh," because with everything going on, maybe I just get too dramatic. I'm like, okay, now I gotta get ready. Let me make sure I got my mask. Let me. And when I tell y'all I'm in and out that store, I I have learned the store. Um, they did. I don't know why they did like a whole movement of the store, except for like the produce and stuff. But when I tell y'all the stores I shop in, when I go into a store, because I'm so I don't know what you would call it. Like, I don't like to go down an aisle, then get over all the way over on the other aisle, then I miss something, then I got to go back to aisle two, stuff like that. Let me tell y'all, I make my grocery list according to the aisle. I just want to be in and I want to be out, and that's it. So you are saving trips to the grocery store. You're saving trips to you're saving trips to the grocery store, and you're saving money. And if you didn't catch the live Friday, I talked about where a lot of the things that we eat out of the produce is harvested way before time, and then a lot of them come from Guatemala, China, Honduras. So a lot of produce loses its nutritional value between 24 hours and like 7 days. And so you think about the logistics of when it comes in imported, whether it comes in from the airplane, or whether it comes in um, on a ship. And then you think about, a lot of times it has to be inspected. Sherry says they're gonna know her showing up again. Okay, Sherry. But I'm telling you, I think about all of that. So you think about, if your food is losing nutritional value from 24 hours up to, like, I think spinach was within 24 hours, 80 to 90% of the nutritional value is lost. Okay. Then other things like lettuce and leafy greens, like after the third day, like it starts losing its nutritional value. So you think about Yes, best yet journey. That okay, let me just say that before we go on, because y'all know, you know when you grow, and we're going to talk about that just real quick. Thank you for reminding me, best yet journey. But you think about, is losing nutritional value right now, right here, right now, during this time. We need all of our nutrients. We need to keep our immune system up. So if you think, if all this stuff is being imported in and being inspected, then you have to have a truck drive thousands of miles. How much value of nutrients have been lost during that period? And not to mention that when it goes to the grocery store, it sits back, sits back on a pallet until somebody comes in to work it and put it out. Versus, you say, I want a salad. You come out, or I want tacos. You come out, you cut your lettuce, you cook your stuff, and you have that nutritional value right there. You have it right there, because it's still not everyone is clean. Don't get me started on don't, Live Inspiring Lives. Don't get me started on about, you are absolutely right about touching the, yes, we don't get me started on that. But yes, let me tell y'all, I'm so glad that Best Yet Journey brought it up. You know when you grow. And she just said over on Instagram, and sprayed. And I made a point about this Friday. We are going off, we're just trusting that we still have some good people in the world, that will do right. But I always say, you know when you grow, you know what you've done to it, you know what you've put on to it, you've known how it was grown. And when I say we have to have some trust, and I'll use this for an example. When it says organic, were you there? Did you see them? Do you know if they didn't spray something? I mean, I could tell you, no, I ain't spray nothing on it. No, this is organic. And they can charge you a premium price to say it's organic. But were you there? Do you know? No, you don't. You just have to trust that they are telling the truth. But when you grow your own, you know, because you're the one that grew it. So you know what you did to it. I know that I sprayed last night BT, which is um a organic way of killing the different caterpillars and worms that keeps eating my greens. I know I did that. I could say I sprayed BT on my greens last night. Organic. Okay, so organic, Sherry, basically means that they're not using the chemical or the synthetic um, sprays to kill like different things in the in your garden or on their farm. For example, Seven Dust. Seven Dust is a chemical pesticide that a lot of people use, but it kills the beneficial insects. And I will tell y'all a quick story. One year, I was talking to this older guy at the store, and I was like, I'm so tired of these worms eating my greens. He's like, oh, just put some Seven Dust on there. Now, this was years ago. I garden organically now. So I went and I did. I put Seven Dust on there. And as soon as I shook it out, it's like my heart dropped. I felt so bad. And for that entire season, I didn't see the bees. I didn't see butterflies. I didn't see any of that. Those are synthetic chemical pesticides that they use as a way to just control the different pests that are in the garden. And this is what I tell you. This is what I've told a lot of people. When you start building, nurture your soil, not the plant. Because if you nurture your soil, you will start to see that you will have better growth, you will have less pests. I tell people, don't focus on the plant, because if you get that soil right, if you nurture your soil and get that right, you are going to see a difference in your plants. It's all about having that good soil, because the soil is what's going to keep those plants to growing, and like not have them susceptible to different diseases. And I always tell people to think of it like an immune system. You want to keep your immune system up. So when you put a lot of synthetic, even fertilizers, if you put a lot of synthetic fertilizer, you will get instant gratification, but you got to think about the damage that you're doing over time, because if you continue to use like a lot of synthetic fertilizers, it adds a lot of salt to your soil, which is not good. So we do things like we vermicompost, and we add that compost like to our planting hole. And if we do the slow release fertilizer, we do the organic. Yes, I had to take a few weeks and amend my soil. Yes, before I plant. And let's go talk about that. I always tell people, if you are wanting to plant like a big space, just say for instance you want to have a garden bed, I encourage you to talk to your local extension office. We have a local garden center here too. It all goes through the University of Georgia. Get your soil tested, because what they're going to do is they're going to ask you, what do you plan on putting in that area? And that way you can tell them, um, backyard garden, say the soil is the soul of a garden. Yes, nurture, get that soil right. And I'm telling you, you'll see, you won't even have to use any synthetic fertilizers, or not synthetic, but synthetic pesticides. But you got to have a little patience too. And but get your soil tested. They're going to ask you what you want to grow. I do not know why this phone continues to cut me off. If y'all see my hand keep doing that, it's because the screen keeps growing, going black. I noticed my growth in my raised beds was off, and I did another raised bed, make better soil. Yes, 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 yes. They're gonna ask you what you plan on growing, and then they're gonna give you recommendations on what to amend your soil with. For example, if I say I want to plant leafy greens in there, they're gonna do a soil test, and they what they do is they test, and I got to pull this out again. They test nitrogen, they test phosphorus, and they test potassium. They still do they did do a little bit of micronutrients, but it depends. You can have them go down to like really, really like down to the micro level as to what you need. And it's a lot of organic sources that you can use to amend. You got alfalfa meal, you got bone meal, you got blood meal, you got things like that. But get your soil tested when you're first started, if you're doing a raised bed. Now, if you're doing in containers, um, normally the soil is okay to start at first. Now, over time, if you're going to keep growing in those same containers, you will, because we got our patio containers right here, and I've been growing over time. So I do send off for sampling for my patio containers here, because I grow a lot of herbs, and you have some plants that are heavy feeders, and we can talk about that later. We have some plants that are very heavy feeders, and you need to put those, you need to amend your soil, or either you need to do crop rotation, to where after that heavy feeder is done, don't put another heavy feeder in there again, because they're not going to get those same nutrients. And we can definitely talk about that on a later series. But yeah, I always suggest that you, when you're first starting, get that soil tested, so you'll have a good starting point, and let them know what you want to grow, so you can get started that way. But yeah, I just remember, yeah, we don't like to use any synthetic or chemical pesticides, because even neem oil is considered organic, but even organic you have to be careful with, because neem oil, you don't spray it in the day, especially with the sun out, because they will burn your leaves. If I do any spraying, I always wait till the nighttime. I don't know where the bees and the butterflies go sleep. I don't, but I try to wait till they went to bed. My herbs thrive in cement blocks. It's the strangest thing. So right, it's certain conditions. Like I'm telling you, I can plant celery in one raised garden bed, but then plant celery somewhere else, and it's one of them might be like, I don't like this area. I don't like it, so I'm finna die. How about that? But that's okay. I'm not gonna stop I'm not gonna stop gardening. I'd be like, okay, well, you didn't like growing there, so we won't put you there no more. We'll put somebody else who likes it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, don't tell yourself you can't grow just because a plant like decides it wants to die. I'm telling you, plants will just be like, I'm not doing it. I'm not. So go find you somebody else to plant here because I'm not going to do it. And they will. They will die on you. And that's what I'm saying. With everything I research and study and know, I still have them die on me. I said, well, I guess me and you wasn't a good fit, you know. I get your sister or your brother over here. We're gonna plant them, because Sherry, I got some lettuce right here. I don't know if I can. I gotta, I gotta do better. I got some lettuce right here that I'm about to get ready to plant in just a few minutes. Um, we had sporadic germination, but let me just tell y'all why we did that. A lot of seeds say, you know how the seeds got expiration dates on there? Don't throw those seeds out. Um, they will still germinate. They'll still germinate, but they may not germinate as much. Like, we had spotty germination, but don't throw them out. Like, still plant them and see, because some popped up. We still had some popped up. Yeah, these are very, I think those seeds are 2 years old. But that's okay. We still got about, I'm not gonna count with y'all on here. We probably got about 15 lettuce heads that we're about to get ready to plant. But that's what I'm saying. There are the germination may not be as good the first year if you save them as a second year. But I've heard a lot of people say they throw the seeds out all together after the expiration date. So I'll tell you, don't do that. Don't do that. So we can still eat off this lettuce right here. So I want y'all to be thinking about what you're going to grow. If you're currently growing now, just keep growing, keep doing it, keep adding, but don't get frustrated. Don't tell yourself you cannot do it. I say the cat, not I say right, exactly. Exactly. Don't throw those seeds out. I'm like my kid, don't throw that away. But yeah, just be thinking about that. And then if y'all got any ideas or you got questions, DM me so I can come on live and talk about it, because we're all here to help each other grow. Somebody said it yesterday, and it is so true. Gardeners are some of the most kindest people that you can meet. I'm telling y'all, we want to share our knowledge. I know a lot of people get tired of me. I've been trying to get everybody I know to grow, and they just like, no, that's okay. I'm like, just grow a herb, just grow something. But DM me or email me at anna@southernentertaining.com if it's something you want to know about. Because we can do, I really enjoyed this 3-day series, and I hope you all did too. I hope that it changed your mind, whether your reason was time, whether your reason was money, whether your reason was you just don't want to start. I started with herbs to gain confidence. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Start with things like herbs and lettuces. Those are going to be pretty. You'll love it. You'll absolutely love it. Get your friends on board. I'm telling you, I am just like, I try to get everybody to grow. And don't come to my house, because we're gonna go on a tour, honey. I'm like, you want to see my garden? Come on. And then I'm gonna have a bag before you leave, so you can take some of this stuff with you, because I've been dehydrating oregano like crazy. But I really hope it's like giving you encouragement to just start, because we don't want to find ourselves in the situation that we were earlier this year, where all the seeds companies were out, or either they had a backlog and people were panicking, trucks weren't coming in, some of the shelves were empty. And like I said, I want to say this. I remember one year oregano fruits to go. I couldn't stop it growing so, but exactly. That's why I said you got to keep going. You got to keep growing. Don't let one plant stop you from growing. But I think we just need to, and this is okay. This is what I was saying. I'm not saying that I grow enough to where we got food 365 days a year. I really want to get to that point. I really do. Don't get me wrong. But I feel good knowing that from now until probably March or April, that I don't have to go and buy lettuce. I can save that money. I feel good knowing that we can eat mustard greens for Sunday dinner. You know, but I am each year I try to add more, I try to incorporate more, I try to brainstorm as to how I can get my husband to let me take some more of the back garden. If you saw our stories this morning where I was like, Chris is gonna have to cut this grass. Well, see, the reason why I got those three raised beds is because I told him, look at all this grass you don't have to cut now. You don't have to cut all this grass. It's less and less. And so he bought on that one. Thank you, backyard gardener. I'm gonna write that down. So on YouTube, hit the like button if this was some great information, and if y'all want me to do these three series, we'll call them like a weekend series, just because we're still teleworking during the day. And Shirley, who is on YouTube, can attest. Sometimes we get some problems, and sometimes we got to work during our lunch break. Um, that's right. You can't eat grass. Viv Inspiring Lives. You can't eat grass. That's right. I told Chris, I was like, look, you get tired of cutting this grass, because I'm gonna tell him today, when you gonna cut the grass, and the grass is not even high. We just got snakes here, and you know how they say keep your grass cut low, so you can see the snakes. So that's why I just want it cut low, because I don't want to see no snakes, no snakes. But yeah, we just let me know some things. I know I could do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, just like a three-part series or a two-part series or a master class. What I will tell you all, make sure you're following me on YouTube. Make sure you've subscribed on YouTube. Make sure you're following me on Instagram, because y'all, I have been doing some work, and I hope y'all like it. We're about to get ready to have a webinar on pest control. We're about to get ready to have a webinar on pest control, because I did put up a poll, and I asked people, if you could wave a magic wand, what would be the one thing that you would just like want to know about when it comes to gardening. So y'all let me know, and we are going to do a master class on that. But I have been working on my slides. I am just real meticulous about a lot of things, and I want to have it look a certain way, but I also want to give you all of the information that I can. So we have that coming up. As a matter of fact, after I get through planting my lettuce and stuff, normally what I'll do is I'll work out, because yesterday, no lie, it got dark at about 5:30, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I work until it gets dark around 5:30 or 6, and then I go in the house, and I'm working on this master class. But it's coming, and it's probably going to come early December, just because that's when a lot of people start. Planning out for next spring about what they want to plant. And so I thought this would be a good time while we're just relaxing over the holidays to get this information in, and then also be thinking about what we're going to start planning for next spring. So if it's something, another topic you want to know about, you DM me, email me, because we can make it a master class, and we can all ask questions, we can learn from each other. But I noticed that pest control is an issue. Like I tell people, it is not if, it's when. When are you going to get these pests? So when you know how to, and that's the slides I'm working on now, and then I'm about to go, y'all. When you know about, when you identify these pests and you know what to do with them, and you get them up under control, then the pests gonna start telling their friends, don't go over there. Do not go over there and eat her leaves, because she gonna get you. Because I know this BT that I sprayed last night, I was like, yeah, you better tell your moths to stop laying eggs on my stuff. so so you better send a message out to them. And you know what, Viv Inspiring Lives. Oh, I got a whole slide on tomato hornworms. I got a whole slide. And the thing about tomato hornworms is they come lay eggs in your soil. It's those brown moths. I think they're called the spink moths. And they lay there. They're dormant over the winter. You think you're doing good, and honey, when they come hatching, and a hornworm will wipe out your tomatoes in less than 24 hours. I definitely had to touch on that one. We got some slides on that one. So again, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you're following me. Hopefully, I have everything ready by December. I'm trying to figure out what platform I want to put it on. Yeah, you see the moths flying around like, okay, but I'm telling you, after last night, they was like, don't go over there. Do not go over there messing with that lady, messing with that lady stuff, because you're not going to live to tell about it. So, yeah, yes, 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 yes. And that's what I'm saying. Like, once you get it up under control, and see, if y'all have been looking at my stories on Instagram, you always hear me say, I'm out here this morning doing a quick walkthrough. I encourage you, if you're planting, no matter if you're planting in a pot, if you're planting in a container, even your pot, do a quick walkthrough. Because you're going to learn to know your plants, and if you see something off, you are going to learn to know that, and you could say that wasn't there last night, something going on. And I do daily walkthroughs. Daily walkthroughs. Sometimes I come out here 2 or 3 times a day, so I'll know at least a time frame on how long this has been going on. But I'm telling you, they got some pests, the tomato hornworm, that will take you out, take your stuff out. And I put some of my personal pictures on these slides because the tomato plant that I'm about to get ready to pull between today and tomorrow, I happened to look up and I said, "What? Where are my leaves?" And I just start looking, and they camouflage themselves really, really good too. They camouflage themselves. Hey, Eric, they camouflage themselves very good. So our slide is definitely going to touch on the dreaded tomato hornworm. So y'all get ready for that. And again, if you got a topic you want to know more about, just make sure you email or DM me. And then we'll do a master class on that as well. So again, I hope this was helpful to you all. And we are going to talk again soon. So y'all, it's getting cloudy. I don't think it's going to rain today, but I'm going to go and plant my lettuce, and I'm going to sow direct seed some spinach and clean off from around my cone flowers so that the fungus gnats can go away. So y'all enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and thank you all so much for joining me. Again, I'm going to keep Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll keep all of those lives up. And if you missed Friday and Saturday, you can go back and watch it. So y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend and the rest of your day, and we are going to talk again soon. Thank y'all so much for joining me. You sowing green beans today? Yes, yes, yes. See, Viv Inspiring Lives, y'all, she is on it, okay? She is on it. We are growing together. We're going to grow, and we are going to have the most amazing gardening community. So y'all think about what you're going to grow, and then we are definitely going to talk soon. Thank y'all.